The Black Country in the West Midlands is an area with strong traditional and emotional links with the metalworking industries. It is of vital strategic importance at the heart of the country's motorway network and centred around the towns of Dudley, West Bromwich, Walsall and Wolverhampton. It sustains between 10 and 11,000 jobs directly and another 2,500 indirectly, supplying high-integrity, often safety-critical components to a wide range of industries, such as aerospace, heavy and light engineering, construction and the car industry. With the West Midlands forming a central core to UK car production, Black Country Forges and Foundries make a vital contribution to the economy of the West Midlands and is a matter of intense local pride. However, there is one significant problem that threatens the viability of this industry: noise. The historical development of many foundries and forges occurred close to or within residential areas. Many of the processes involved are inherently noisy, and the noise is often impulsive and of distinctive character. Foundry and forge buildings are in most cases of lightweight construction and are naturally ventilated, providing minimal sound insulation. Inevitably, the noise emission from these premises has been a major problem in surrounding communities. With many companies being the subject of complaints and in some cases legal action by the local authorities, especially where operations were carried out outside normal daytime hours, the problem of noise was clearly presenting a major problem for the operators of Black Country Foundries and Forges.
Dealing with noise problems is fraught with difficulties, from actually locating the source of the problem to finding a cost-effective method of dealing with it. You can actually spend a lot of money trying to solve problems without any significant reduction in noise levels. Here at Clydesdale, we were looking for a proven method of dealing with it which was cost effective, which would enable us to remain competitive and remain in business on this site.
It was clear to all concerned that a solution or alleviation of the problem of community noise would significantly improve the long-term prospects of foundries and forges in the Black Country, and this would have obvious benefits for employment and to the local economy. That is why the Metropolitan Borough Councils of Dudley, Sandwell, Walsall and Wolverhampton teamed up with the Confederation of British Metal Forming, the Cast Metals Federation and the GMB Union to form a unique partnership that worked together to try and find cost-effective noise reduction measures for these industries. A working group was quickly formed to seek funds to carry out this research and subsequently made an application to the European Regional Development Fund. The significance of this project was recognised by the EU with the allocation of £260,000 towards an overall project cost of £650,000.
Forges and foundries are inherently noisy, and this brings them into conflict with local authorities through complaints from local residents. Rather than take enforcement action, it was felt more appropriate to try and solve the problem rather than take legal action. What we decided to do was to work with industry and work with the unions involved to try and find a cost-effective solution to the problem of noise in these industries.
The partnership had sought the expert knowledge of audio specialists from the University of Southampton's Institute of Sound and Vibration Research.
The objective of these projects was to understand and to find out how to solve the noise problems associated with two particular industries which are widely spread in the Black Country. These are the forging industry and the foundry industries, where we are concerned in both cases with making components out of hot metal. Some of the processes involved are inherently very noisy. The noisiest is the noise of the forging hammer, which produces noise levels of 100 decibels, 100 dBA, within the works. There are also many other noise sources, particularly the noise associated with handling metal. People throwing metal parts into bins, into hoppers, moving metal with trucks and cranes. And these are common to both industries. We've looked in particular at ways of dealing with these sorts of problems.
Together, this group set themselves the task of investigating, experimenting and finding new, innovative, practical and cost-effective solutions. A 2.5-year strategy successfully identified appropriate noise reduction techniques and equipment that could be applied to the noise problems. The working group identified 3 pilot projects in which specifically designed noise reduction measures could be installed. The 3 selected were Clydesdale Forge in Netherton, Henley Foundries in Halesowen, and Chamberlain and Hill in Walsall. All 3 are long-established companies that have experienced difficulties with noise complaints from people living in the surrounding areas.
The main problem with the site here at Dudley is that we're very close to a residential area. Clydesdale business has doubled in size in the last few years, and this has meant an increase in the number of noise complaints to the local council. Although we've worked very closely with the council, we are concerned that there may be some restrictions on working hours which could have a detrimental effect on the business here and could put 120 jobs into jeopardy.
The council views the problem very seriously. It's in a difficult position, the council, because it has a legal responsibility to residents and wants to make sure that they can live in a peaceful environment. But it also wants to protect jobs within the borough and wants to also encourage more inward investment to create more jobs. So it's difficult trying to find a balance and solutions to noise complaints within the area.
The solutions involved a series of measures, such as noise-proofing bins and hoppers. Installing acoustic doors and enclosures, and cladding existing buildings.
We've identified 3 main areas where we think improvements in noise could be made. The first area you could generally call site management. The way the site is operated, the way equipment is laid out, when doors are closed, what are the working hours, how equipment is maintained. Badly maintained equipment is often noisier than well-maintained equipment. And very important, how the company responds to complaints and how it keeps local residents informed about what it's doing. The second area is reducing noise at source. For existing equipment such as fans or compressors, this can mean simply fitting silencers or acoustic enclosures to reduce noise from that machine. If buying new equipment, a company can make a purchasing decision based on noise levels. Buy a quieter machine rather than a noisier one. One particular noise source we've looked at in this project is the noise from metal components being thrown or dropped into bins and hoppers. The third method of noise control is to contain the noise within buildings. Most forges and foundries in the Black Country are housed in buildings which are old, they're often in poor condition, and the buildings often have large open areas to provide ventilation.
Here are some pictures of the pilot scheme sites before the transformation, and once again, after. OK, so they look impressive, but do they actually work?
The effect of the modifications is quite dramatic. The amount of sound emitted from the forge has been reduced by about 15 dBA, which means that the amount of noise energy from the forge has been reduced to about 1/30th of its previous level. This is a very dramatic improvement. It'll be very noticeable to local residents, and it means that Clydesdale can continue to expand their activities on this site without causing problems to neighbours.
Within the Black Country, the positive effects of these measures are potentially massive, both for the industry and the region's economy. The firms involved in the pilot scheme can expect improved viability and prospects for development while averting the costs of closure or relocation.
Being involved in the project has given us a lot more confidence in the site here at Dudley. And throughout the 90s we invested very little here because we weren't sure about the long-term future of the site. Recently we've invested £1.5 million in a number of projects which will increase employment here by 19% over the next year or so. That must be great news for Clydesdale and great news for the project.
The G&B Union is delighted on behalf of its members. Not only has it saved jobs in Dudley it's beneficial to all our members across the country.
Other companies are already expressing an interest in the pilot project's successful outcome, which has the potential to keep everybody happy, residents and companies alike.
I'm very excited and enthusiastic about the project, and I'm glad the council is involved in it. The project is obviously throwing up some innovative solutions to combat the problems, and I'm all for that. I want to see residents living in a peaceful environment, and I want to see companies being able to prosper.
What we have achieved is to find cost-effective measures to reduce noise from forges and foundries. This in turn will give companies the confidence to invest in their premises, and that will benefit both the economy and the environment.
It is our hope that as a direct result of this groundbreaking partnership and the measures that have been put into place and shown to work, each and every one of those companies, residents and workers will ultimately benefit.